Oh, and there we go. Classic mistake. Welcome everybody to the playoffs, the finals of the third season of the 5PL.
Here.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody recognized everybody on here, but myself, Kerry Kreitz, hosting this week, tech director, Katie Rayner, probably the one that hosted the most on the Cargill side, and Steve Barker, probably the most that hosted on the Schwartz side. So thank you very much, guys, for joining me.
No problem. Where else would we be on a Monday night?
Yeah. What else could anybody have
Watching bowling.
Yeah, so we have the number one seeds from each division making it right to the finals. Kind of fitting. They both had amazing seasons.
Yeah, I think if anybody were to ask a little bit earlier on in this playoff run who was going to be here in the final, these are probably the two teams that everybody was going to say. The numbers that they've been putting up throughout the season are unmatched on both divisions. So I think that this is the obvious choice of who would be in the finals. So
yeah, both teams, obviously the two best teams throughout the season in each division. Revengers Dynamite with a great season, and Next Gen only lost one game all year, and that was, I think, 1352 to 1345, something like that. So crazy numbers all year. Both teams, great mix of youth and experience. And both teams, I think Dynamite have averaged 279 in the playoffs, and Next Gen 278. So this is going to be hopefully a great matchup.
Yeah, I don't foresee any low scores happening here. I think we're going to see fireworks on both sides. And with that being said, we might as well bring in our managers from each here. We have I have a little clip here. Mr. Jim Llewellyn from the Dakota Dynamite and Des from the Next Gen. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
So, preparations for this match. Obviously, the whole season comes down to 3 games, total points. Any insight you can give us? We'll start with the team that's been there twice before. Des, Next Gen. How are you guys feeling?
We feel good. I think, I've touched on it all throughout the season that this year having a full bench almost every single game has just been a really different energy for us, and it's brought a lot of confidence to the team. So we've been here before, like you said, twice. We know what we need to do, and we're just looking forward to going out there and showing what we can do.
And Jim?
Oh, we're just looking forward to getting started here. It's been a great season for us, and we want to finish it off. So,
fair enough. So I don't remember last season, and I should have been prepared for the end. I did the exact same thing last season. Who gets home team? I probably would go with team with the highest points, and that would be Next Gen out of the Cargill or out of the Schwartz division.
I believe that's what it is.
So as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jim, that would make you guys the visiting team. Obviously, you get home advantage in the second game, but in this whole virtual league, I don't know if it really matters because nobody's really playing matchup. Can we get your lineup for match number 1?
I'm going to go with the same lineup we ended up with last game, which is Max, Aaron, Andrea, Chad, and Scott. And then I got Jana and Randy on the bench, and Tyler isn't eligible today, or this game, sorry.
Okay.
Perfect. And Des?
I've got Jenna, Julie, Haley, Cody, Brad, and Ty on the bench.
All right. Well, we're going to be talking lots about all you here as we get going, so you might as well get the match started, and we'll get rock and rolling here.
Good luck, guys.
Awesome. Good luck, Des.
All right, here we go. It's another day.
The last one. Last one of the season.
Crazy how all these matches, everything comes down to just 3 games.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Next Gen does in being here twice before and coming up just a little bit short both of those times. They have a very similar roster going into this game with a couple of their members not there today who are newer to the team. So they have lots of the same people coming in and fighting for it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can go either way, right? Because you can either look at it, they've been there twice before, so they've got the experience, or because they've been there twice before and haven't been able to pull it out, is there extra pressure to get the monkey off their back?
Right. I mean, this team has such a diverse range of experience on it, lots of tournament experience, lots of national experience, lots of deep runs. So I imagine they'll be able to go and put up a solid effort on the lanes for sure.
Yeah, and with a lot of with a lot of the high level teams here, the lineups, although are often, some teams go kind of with the same lineup, but certainly a number of interchangeable parts on both teams.
For sure.
We know the Next Gen's player cameras is just a little fuzzy here. We're trying to get that all worked out for you guys. Little technical difficulties we've had here this morning, or this afternoon, I guess I should say.
So strike
All
for Jana,
right.
spare for Max. Big week for Max, coming off his YBC National Senior Doubles win. Incredible
right.
to think that he's still got a year in YBC after this, because he's got Youth Challenge Nationals coming up later in the week. So
Yeah.
I think that means he's got another year of YBC after this as well.
He'll have one more year. Yeah. If he's still
Yeah.
playing Youth Challenge, he has still got one more year under his belt. Next Gen off to a hot start. 3 strikes in a row coming off to start the game. And Dynamite looking to settle in a little bit here.
And again, Next Gen, big numbers throughout the year. And then again, the playoffs, they've gotten off to big starts, a lot of games. And they've had a 14-28 and 13-56 against the Venom, and then 13-80 and 14-08 against Toppler. And in those games, like the Venom were within 90 the first game, 13-30 and 12-86 is what the Venom shot to lose, and Toppler had 13-05 and 12-91 in the games they lost to them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they were massive games.
Yeah.
Big frame up there for Next Gen. And over on the Dynamite side, they're only through their first 2 players. And we'll be looking to get through, put something on the board to match what Next Gen is throwing up there.
Can't get off to a better start, right?
No.
No.
While we continue, do we want to do some lineups here?
Oh, yes.
Those rosters.
You betcha. So we'll do visiting team first.
Okay, the Dakota Dynamite, Max Gibson, Tyler Van Dale, Chad Van Dale, Jana Van Wellingham, Randy Morissette, Scott Barber, Andrea Alaka, Aaron Oblis, managed by Jim Llewellyn in Dakota Lanes in Winnipeg.
And over on the Next Gen side, Bradley Tickcat, Jenna Lamoureux, Tyler Tickcat, Julia Robko, Cody Steer, Haley Cole, Jeremy Harrisamchuk, and Madison Jenkins, managed by Desiree Tickcat, over playing in Bonnie Doon Lanes. So Andrea gets her spare. Chad up there with a strike to start off the game. Scott looking to finish out frame 1. Realistically, he throws a mark up there, and that's not a bad frame for the Dynamite either. They have that 1 open in the 2 hole, but a couple spares, hopefully a couple strikes, which they get. That's still a solid frame.
Yeah, not a bad frame at all. I'm sure they'll take that running and move on to the next one.
And of course, today's final is 3 games total points if the third game is necessary. So obviously the magic number is 12.5. And if the teams are 12-12, it goes to pinfall, right?
Correct.
12, hey? Okay. Another mark on the board for next gen. Oh, and Max looked like you got that one out just a little bit, pushing it to the side.
A little fast.
So that top match, Jenna this year averaged 267 for 94 frames with 6 wins in the regular season, and then 33 frames in the playoffs, averaging 268. So obviously she's very solid. It was interesting having Ty on the bench because Ty plays leadoff a lot of this year. And then I know their last couple games, the only time Brad's really struggled a bit, and Ty went in for Brad the first game in the last playoff round, and then Ty finished on the bottom and anchor the second game and shot 340. So not a bad backup plan there.
Yeah.
No.
With their roster, we know Madison Jenkins, who is on their team, has moved down out of the Edmonton zone. And so to come up on a Monday night for Pro League finals just wasn't feasible with the 5-hour drive. And one of their other players, Jeremy Harsimchuk, is working tonight, so he was not able to get the night off on short notice, especially on the holiday Monday. So they are running with 6. So they just have 1 pull available to them each match, with those 2 missing. So we'll see how that comes into play as the match progresses. Generally speaking, next gen hasn't really had that many opportunities where they've really had a 2-pull
Right.
situation this season. They've been so solid and their players have been so solid that it hasn't really come into play that they would need both pulls, but you never know what can happen, especially in like a high pressure situation like the finals.
Yeah, and Jeremy, I think, missed some time this year with work, and I think he got off to a slow start his first game or 2, but still ended up averaging 314 for 56 frames this year.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
know that
pretty-
he did spend a little bit of time on the bench coming off of night shifts just because he was, who knows what you're going to get
Yeah.
with him coming off of working all night. So I know he was at the bowling alley quite a bit, but a lot of times was just kind of there just in case was needed, but had a pretty solid season.
And Scotty.
Oh, a late falling corner there for Scott.
Great bounce back frame here or
the
great answer
Dynamite.
after the all strikes for the Dynamite.
Oh, and Brad gets away with that one.
The skinny one.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick look here at how the teams got to the finals here. So obviously they were number 1 seed, so they got buys into the second round. Venom came up against Next Gen. Next Gen defeated them, and then had to play the Toppler Roses, 3rd time in a row playing them in a semifinal. Beat them as well to be here. Dynamite had to play the Revengers, beat them, and then had to play a tight one against the Kingpins, down 8-0 in the first match of their semifinal, and they came through and won the next 2 matches.
Yeah, that one was a wild one to have going on. I think I was in a bowling alley. I can't remember what tournament it was for, but I remember people all around were talking about it.
It was during the Diamond Ladies Classic.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that tournament you were
Lots of
busy
people.
winning, Katie.
Yeah. Lots of bowling. Lots of bowling. So many things going on this time of year. Hard to get these playoffs scheduled and just can't get that corner to fall for Haley. Aaron with a little thin one, throwing the chop.
So obviously both these teams been in the league at least 2 seasons, if not 3. Like Next Gen, they've competed in this virtual league for many years. Everybody's been under the pressure situations. They know kind of where they're at with their games, what they're expecting from their teams. What kind of adjustments do you think you'll see out of these two teams in only possibly a 2-game match, if not hopefully a 3-game match for them? Do you see any adjustments coming from them, or is it just going to be status quo and keep doing what you've been doing all season?
I think for next gen, it's status quo. They put up such good numbers this year, and obviously off to a good start this year. So much familiarity amongst their group and trust with each other. Now, what's happened in the playoffs so far is they've gotten off to huge starts and then just kind of coasted home because teams haven't really pushed them right toward the end. Like teams have chipped away at them, but haven't really. So it'd be interesting to see if, again, they've got 3 triples right out of the gate, and Dynamite aren't far behind. But if they have another one of those games where halfway through they look like they're on a 1600 pace, whether the opposition, whether the Dynamite can stay with them and stay on their heels to keep the pressure on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be. I think both these teams, they've been so solid all season long that this really is another match to them that is going to be pretty status quo. Keep doing what you're doing. Both teams were dominant in their divisions. There's no need for them to change anything up at this point. Even with their playoff runs, it's been so solid and steady that why change something that isn't broken, right?
Yeah, and all the teams, especially the ones higher in the standings in the playoffs, are just so deep with big name players. It's not like they're going to get to the finals, then all of a sudden look across and say, "Holy crap, we're playing them!" Right? Because you play great teams the whole way through.
For sure.
I believe we just have the next gen here working on their cameras really quick. Try and get that a little bit clearer picture for us.
Great starts for both teams.
Back up. That looks clear.
Yeah, it looks a lot better. Hopefully it remains that way.
And we talk about it, a fair bit, at least on the broadcast I've been on. But like you look at your number 4 and 5 bowlers, sometimes the big shots in the game don't come at the end of the game. Look at the Jenna and Julie both start on triples, and top 3 on Dynamite are doing just so. But Chad double in a corner, Scott with a triple to match the other team.
Mm-hmm. Jenna with a ham bone.
Yeah, I find that more so like with the virtual league, like we've been doing, the matches up top seem to matter a little bit more heavily than you see maybe at an Open or a Masters Nationals, right? Like they seem to carry the totals a lot better. Yeah, I don't know, and maybe it's just a perception thing, but
there have been a lot of points stolen by the top and a lot of matches carried by the top players in the lineups this season. And I think you can see that across a lot of matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. And teams have whether it's the players in the game or the people on the bench, there's just so much firepower to be able to come back. Even if you're down a lot of sticks early.
So a couple strikes on the Dynamite side to start the 4th frame. Andrea punching a head pin in the 4th. Haley looking to get back on a string of black marks here after a couple opens in a row.
Doesn't get the corner to fall.
No.
And I believe the Dynamite scores are accurate. The next gen ones haven't added in the strikes for totals.
Yeah.
Right. So right now there's 105 to add to next gen score, if my math is correct.
Haley back on the spares. And a chop over on the Dynamite side.
I know this whole season, the schedule is kind of set in place for the regular season, but we've been piecing together the playoff system due to all the tournaments that are at this time of year with the Diamond Ladies Classic, the Heritage Traditional, the Green and
Nationals.
Gold. The Nationals are coming up right here. Youth
Quebec.
Challenge Nationals, YBC Nationals.
Quebec Classic.
Yeah, Quebec Classic.
MBT things that were happening over the month of May.
Yeah, so we can't thank these teams enough for finding a time that works for both of them, that they could field a team and get this wrapped up and get a trophy awarded.
Bradley also with the ham bone. Oh, and another lady falling for a ham bone over on the Dynamite side. Both these teams with only 3 opens after the first 4 frames. So both teams putting up solid marks.
Yeah, and both teams just, loaded with talent and obviously great seasons. You look at the anchor match there. Scott averaged 275 this year, played all 110 frames. Bradley averaged 299, playing 107 frames.
Yeah. No shortage of talent on either team.
Yeah. And the fourth
big
hole,
strike from Max.
Yeah. Fourth hole, Cody 295 average this year. And then he's playing Chad, who averaged 293 this year.
The matchups, eh?
Yeah.
These teams know in the 5th frame, you want to finish strong before the commercial break. You have a little bit of time to sit and reflect on what just happened, and then have to start it all up again in frame 6. Oof. Julie missing her corner. 17-inch bases. I think it was still on the deck.
That was my excuse every time at Green and Gold. If I missed a corner, I could put it halfway down the ditch. It's the 17-inch bases.
Our first move here. No, I thought so. I wasn't sure the way Aaron came off the lane there. I know in the last playoff round, I'm not sure throughout the regular season, but Jim was very aggressive with his moves in the last playoff round.
Mm.
Yeah.
Haley just pushing it left.
Just a little quick. Aaron trying to clean up his head pin here.
Covers the spare.
And as these guys wrap up the 5th frame here, we'll go quickly over what they're playing for. So not only are they playing for the Season 3 champions of the 5PL, they're also playing for a little bit of cash. The loser of this final will take home a cool $11,200, and the winner will take home $15,680. So fair bit of cash, about $4,400 difference.
Yeah. Both teams are going to want that top spot.
Yeah.
And you get a trophy.
And a pretty cool trophy. And it's the first time the trophy's not going to be in Sherwood Bowl.
Yeah.
Wonder how the Wisemans feel about that.
Well, and thanks as we go into commercial break here shortly. Thanks again to all our sponsors who help. Sure, that has a big reason why the payout is so good.
Yeah, this league wouldn't be running without the advertisers and the sponsors and all the volunteers that have helped us out, like you guys doing commentary with me, Mitch Ryu doing the Schwartz division all season long. Without these people putting in the time and the effort to learn the system and be a part of it, we wouldn't have this virtual league for everybody to watch. 130 people watching right now. on a Monday night when the Oilers might be eliminated tonight. So you might want to check in on that.
Definitely not the fifth frame that the Dynamite are looking for with a couple punches in a row here. They still have that double working at the top. Hopefully Scott will be able to capitalize on his four-bagger for them. But over on the next gen side, Jenna kept her string of strikes running, and Cody started one up. So anything can happen in that second half.
So they're Bonnie Doon's technically at 693 plus 15, right? So at 90, 105.
708.
708 total.
I think Scott throws a strike here that would get them, if that's 86, to 631.
Oh, 4 head pins in a row for Dynamite in the fifth frame. They're going to be looking for that commercial break to regroup a little bit here.
Yeah, they'll be happy that the commercial break is up and hit the little reset button and hopefully come out firing in frame 6 to track down some of those points that they've left up on the deck.
So they'll be down just under 100 with an extra double and a spare for next gen.
All right, we'll run our commercial break here. We have 611 for the Dynamite and 708 for next gen.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centers across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
When you come to the Canadian Brewhouse, you'll feel right at home. We work hard to make our house your house. With an affordable menu of appetizers, entrees, desserts, beverages, and killer deals on daily specials. At our house, you never miss a play. As sports lovers, we've ensured each location includes over 50 TVs and our signature Jumbotron. The Canadian Brewhouse is the place people want to be.
right. These players getting some of their warm-ups in still. Great thing about the virtual league is you can practice and warm up on the side lanes as much as you want. No reason not to. I know we have some substitutes going in here for Dynamite.
So Jana will be going in for Aaron, and Randy's going in for Andrea, both starting in the 6th frame. So we'll see those 2 new players coming in. Jenna with 6 in a row to start.
The 6-pack.
She keeps it going after the commercial break. So they have a lead in that match for sure, but Max is doing what he can to kind of keep it close, waiting for an opening there. Throws another one up there for his hambone. In that 2nd hole, Julie throws a strike up in the 6th frame. She has a bit of a lead on that 2 hole. Jana looking to come in and close the gap that Aaron left. The 3 match is very close, with Haley having that spare in 5.
Yeah.
And Cody's making a comeback.
Me too.
A head pin there. You got to be thinking that match might be the one that we're looking at having a pull in pretty quick here.
Yeah, with Dynamite already making the pull for that match.
Yeah. Haley, when she's really on, she's throwing nothing but strikes, but this time she just hasn't quite found the side of the middle. And when she has, it hasn't been as successful as we've seen in past matches. So when you have some firepower like Tyler on the bench,
Yeah, and it might be a case of, if this was a one and done match, we probably would have seen Tyler already, but maybe because it's going to go at least 2, perhaps she wants to see if Haley can get it going. I mean, you don't want to mess around too much. You do have a slight lead in the match so far, or in the game
for sure. Goals. Yeah.
Cody's feeling it.
I've done a lot of next gen matches this year, and it always seems like at least 2 people are on a 4-bagger at all times.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they probably have been with the numbers that they've been putting up. You don't throw numbers like that without a couple 4-baggers in a game.
But right now, the difference in totals is really the top 2 matches. The bottom 3 are all pretty close.
Yeah.
As far as totals.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the 5 hole, it's a 1-point difference there. The 3 match, that one with Haley opening in 6 and Randy getting the spare, that one's going to be within a ball or 2. Yeah. And then your 3 hole.
Cody's running away a little bit, but.
Yeah. Brad opens up with his 2nd frame in a row. Chad gets the spare over on the Dynamite side to try to keep his match close with Cody. Here's where Scott could make a little bit of a jump on that last match.
This is where you can't say enough about Max too so far, right? Jenna's starting on the first 6, and now if she has one misstep, Max has a chance to catch up.
For sure.
So really keeping his team in the game. Yeah.
We just found out Tyler will be going in for Haley starting the first ball of frame 7. So kind of like we figured would happen, that they'll finish off the game with Tyler. There's a little bit of that misstep we were talking about. We'll see if Max can jump on that. And he punches a head pin to Jenna's 3 pin.
As it's been stated on this this telecast before, 3 pin on a run of strikes.
It's a shit in a tub.
Shit in the tub. That's definitely going to be a t-shirt.
Thank you, Joel.
All right, that's a great start, obviously, for Jenna, 256 and 7. But Max isn't too far behind.
Oh, 50 pins back with 3 frames to go. So still anyone's match. Definitely could have been a lot more of a runaway game than it is, with Jenna starting with 6 in a row. Julie didn't even have to think about that one.
We have our first look at tie here in this match.
And a strike right off the bench. Just coming off the win at the Heritage Traditional.
Yeah.
Threw a lot of those that day.
He's been on a bit of a hot streak there, even at the green and gold. He was lights out on the Sunday.
Yeah. And open provincials, got it in his mind he wanted singles and made that happen too. So he's been on a few months of a hot streak.
And obviously, we got Aaron and Scotty Barber. I do believe they're both on the national team for Manitoba. Scotty gets to play with his son, Taryn.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
That's
can't
pretty cool.
imagine, as a dad, I can't imagine anything much cooler than that.
Yeah.
And Andrea's also going on the mixed team, I believe.
Yes, she is.
Then, in addition to Tyler, Jenna, Julie, and Coach Des are on the ladies team, and Maddie and yourself, Katie, on the mixed team heading to Open Nationals.
That's right. We're pretty pumped. Can't wait. One more week.
Chad answering Cody's open there.
That's what you got to do. Jump on those opportunities. And the thing about this being a 3-game match is, even if you're not going to be able to claw your way back to getting the points this game, keeping that total as close as possible, trying to see how many points you can steal so that it's not like a 8-0 or a 7-1, keeping those points as close as possible, because you never know what will happen in the next 2 games.
Yeah, and fighting for every stick to get totals as close as you can as well, in case of the 12-12 tie, which we've seen a couple times in the 2-game playoff matches, teams tie and it come down to totals.
Yep.
For sure.
Brad feels lost out there, I'm guessing. His arms are everywhere.
Definitely not a stellar 7th frame from either team. Both of them throwing a couple strikes up on the board, but other than that, not a lot going on there.
So 963 for next gen. It's 839 for Dynamite.
Definitely some big shots coming up here.
Jenna back on it. And so is Max. See if Julie can keep it rolling here. Just a little bit quick. And Jana finally comes alive off the bench. Took her a couple frames to get warmed up, but that's more of what I'm sure they were expecting from her.
Yeah,
Julie covers it, that's fair.
Yeah, especially Jana in the season, 281 average for 74 frames. And then the first week of the playoffs against the Revengers, she had a 601 double.
Yeah. Another big strike by Randy. Oh, that was so skinny. I'm surprised it even touched the middle, but
Chop.
managed to get the chop off out of it.
Chop cherry.
There's a shirt for that.
There is a shirt for that.
Yeah, the way Tyler's been playing, a shot for him that looks bad is still a chop off.
Yeah.
The average human, a bad shot's a 3-pin or something.
Head pin there for Chad.
So Cody's going to be up about 40 if he opens and a lot more if he throws a mark.
Which he did. So Chad can max out at a 291. Cody has a couple frames to still get to that number, but that strike working, he's already sitting at a 240 without throwing another ball. That one looked like a typical Brad shot. Stepping out to the side, knew it was good right out of his hand. And over on the Dynamite side, a little head pin for Scott.
Yeah.
So that'll turn that match slightly in Brad's favor, it looks like.
So yeah, 1,071 working for the next gen. So increase their lead a little bit, 140 roughly. 2 frames to play.
The 9th frame, big shots here. Jenna up 45.
Oh, and a head pin. Gets the 7, tries to wave over the 3-pin as well.
That looked like a good shot for Max, too. Just a power chop. And I can just imagine people, Max, what are you doing in May? Well, I got YBC Nationals and then Pro League Finals and then Youth Challenge Nationals. That's the first week and a half.
Yeah. Lots of national events.
Yeah.
For everybody.
So busy time of year. Yeah. Oh, and a 7 for Julie also. Jana covers and gets the spare.
All right. So we kind of see the points starting to filter out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking 6-2 split at the moment.
Yeah, Julie's got hers locked up. She's playing for totals. Pivotal shot here for Randy on the double. With Tyler having an open.
You got it.
Oh, gets that pushed over. Tyler gets the strike over on his side.
As Katie mentioned, this Chad's got 291 left here. Cody can go 90 out for 315.
Great ball by Chad.
Well, that makes it interesting.
That definitely is going to bring it closer coming into the last couple balls here. And Scott finally finds it again. He throws a strike up there. That's a big 9th frame for the Dynamite.
Huge 9th frame for the Dynamite.
Oh, and Cody puts one through the middle on his strike.
So they only got 1134 right now. Obviously, they got another player with a mark working, but that 170 pin or 140 pin lead melted away.
Mm-hmm. This is a little bit like what you were kind of talking about, Steve, about how Next Gen comes out so hot, but then has lately kind of just been coasting into the end of the game a little bit because they have such a big lead at the halfway mark. And we're kind of seeing that a little bit here. The way they were throwing the first half of the game, hardly any opens, nothing but marks up there. And then the second half, a little bit more punchy, a little bit more missing shots that they wouldn't normally miss. And that lead is starting to go. So it'll just be a matter of, do they have enough
Right.
to get that end of the match, right?
Right, because we've seen a lot of teams be able to push them through like the 6th frame, but just not put that extra frame together to catch up.
Right.
I almost equate it to like a college basketball game or a NBA game where one team's out to a huge lead, the other team fights back, almost gets the lead, but they consume so much energy getting to that point, they just can't get over the edge.
I mean, the other thing with this team, though, too, is that they do have the talent on there to look at what's going on the other lane and say, okay, we got to turn it on for 10.
Yeah.
It's a 170 pin lead turned into a 100 pin lead. So
Max throws a strike. Jenna misses on her first shot. So that's going to put him at 271 and only back 20 points.
316 Max. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, and she punches out the middle. That match is now super interesting.
Yeah, he needs another one.
Oh, and with that chop, not enough. So Jenna will take that point. He can max out at a 301. But definitely brought it back closer than we were probably expecting after that 6-bagger to start.
Yeah, and just brings pinfall right back into it for the team.
Gets the spare, 301, so only down 3 after that top match. Julie throws the first one up there. We know that her point is already taken, so they'll have the 2 points after the first 2 bowlers.
So she's just freewheeling for totals.
Big strike by Jana as well.
A 12 count for Julie.
Gets that late falling 2-pin on her chop.
And looking into that third match, Tyler in for Haley's got 236 left. Randy could go 5-5-5 for 237. Not that he wants to do that, but that's where we talk about pinning. Pinning isn't always just spares too, right? It's throughout the match because psychologically you get down to a shot and all of a sudden it might only be 2 pins difference, but it can mean a whole ball if it's 14 or 16 pins.
For sure.
Little blip there. Tyler leaves the corner.
Left corner. So that'll give Randy that match. Tyler spares it. Oh, falling over, gets the strike for the ham bone. Tyler puts one on top. Came in off the bench strong for next gen.
So with the extra 45, they got 1258. So now they're at 56 pins.
But now they've got a bowler less to count, basically.
Yeah.
With Randy's 2 shots left here.
It was a big strike by Randy, throwing another one up there. Cody throws the first strike in 10.
So he'll need another one in a count to shut out Chad as far as the match. But right now they're also looking at totals. So 3 points are still very much in jeopardy.
Another big strike for Cody.
What a
Great
fill
finish.
for Randy.
Whew,
Randy coming in off that bench hot.
Just melted away that lead.
A little 210 for 5 frames. Oh no.
Oh, that
Corner pin for Chad.
Chad leaves the corner, securing the point for Cody.
Yeah. But with a spare strike here, that's still big for team total at the bottom. Gets the spare.
Brad working on this double's massive now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got 1291. Chad can throw the strike here to get it to 1292. And Brad would have an extra ball to count.
Yeah.
Coming down to the wire.
Oh,
and a head pin there. So 1282 they'll be sitting at.
big shot. Great job by Brad.
So I believe their max is 1357 for Dynamite.
Yeah, they can have another 75 on there.
Yeah.
Ooh, Scotty pitches.
So it looks like it'll be a 7-1 for next gen after game 1. Gets the spare.
Brad knew out of his hand.
Another hand bone.
Once they throw their final shots here, we'll get their team totals up on the scoreboard. 1327. And for next gen.
Right now at 1366. plus another 13. $13.79.
Perfect. All right. Just wait. We want to get our team managers in here really quick, or should we run a commercial break and bring them in? How we want to do it for the finals?
Run your commercial break.
Yeah, let's run the commercial break and we'll bring our managers in to start the next match.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centers across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
When you come to the Canadian Brewhouse, you'll feel right at home. We work hard to make our house your house. With an affordable menu of appetizers, entrees, desserts, beverages, and killer deals on daily specials. At our house, you never miss a play. As sports lovers, we've ensured each location includes over 50 TVs and our signature Jumbotron. The Canadian Brewhouse is the place people want to be.
All right, we'll bring in our managers here. We'll get rid of this. All right. Oh, we have a new manager for the Dynamite, Aaron Avalos. How's it going?
Good. Jim just likes to make a bunch of pulls. He pulled himself for this one. So he brought me in.
Fair enough. So we have a 7-1 lead for next gen, 1379 to 1327. We'll start with the Dynamite. Aaron, obviously you guys know that last week you were down that 0-8 in that first match, and you came back and conquered the Kingpins. Any thoughts on the Dynamites? How is the pit feeling and all that good stuff?
No, I think everybody feels good. We were running on wood, spares, hopes, and dreams until about frame 8. Kind of came together. The hill was a bit too steep, so we've always kind of been pretty even keel. It's us against us. Next Gen's a great team. Every team in the league's a great team. This is the finals, but it's really when you rely on your experience. Even if you're Max Gibson, gold medal, by the way, you rely on your experience and your execution and hopefully start out a little hotter and build a lead and kind of challenge Next Gen here.
For sure. Des, obviously 7-1 start. That's got to be a great feeling for next gen, and kind of what you guys wanted to put on the scoreboard right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. We came out nice and strong and just started kind of pushing towards the end of the game a little bit. I'm going to disagree with the coasting comment, just so you guys know. I think it's more just they're a very talented team, and when you end up with one or two people in the same frame that start missing, it looks maybe like coasting, but it's more that they know they need to get those marks back up there, and they're pushing a little too hard. So we're going to settle in, and we're ready for game 2.
For sure. All right. So since next gen would be technically the visiting team, let's get your lineup.
We are going back to the exact same way we started. So Jenna, Julie, Haley, Cody, Brad, Ty on the bench.
Perfect. And Aaron, what's the Dynamite's plan for this one?
We're going to start the way we ended. So we've got Max in 1, Randy in 2, Jana in 3, Chad in 4, Scott Barber in the anchor, Tyler and myself are on the bench, and Andrea's ineligible.
Perfect. Well, and good luck this one. And as we all know, 12.5 is the mark that next gen will need to end this in the second match. If not, we'll see you in game 3. Best of luck, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right. Here we go. Sorry, guys, if I didn't let you get a word in edgewise there.
Nope, that's okay.
Nope, we're good. And that game there, just typical of a lot of next gen's games. They get off to a great start and teams chip away. That's 5 games now. One of their wins has been a little more than 100. The rest of them have all been in the 50 to 80 range, where teams fight back and just can't quite get there.
All right. Jenna starting off with the split.
A little bit different start than our first one. Obviously, starting out with the 6-pack. Ooh, Max.
And a 3-pin over on the Dynamite side.
It's hard to, probably with the Dynamite coming down to the wire, right? They knew they were within team total. They're probably, that adrenaline's a little bit up there. And now you're coming into a fresh match. Maybe the adrenaline drop has something to do with the 3-pin right off the bat. But as we heard from Aaron, Max is a gold medalist, and we don't foresee that being an issue moving forward.
No, and he's young enough that I don't think he just stiffened up with that little 5-minute break. So,
yeah. But good clean for him, 15. So he actually has the lead after frame 1.
yeah, as you mentioned, your mindset for this game for the Dynamite's got to be, look, we had a good game. We had a decent finish. We almost got there. Just let's not dig ourselves as much of a hole and get off to a little better start. Now, that said, Max started with 2 spares and a 4-bagger, and the bottom 2 guys started double corner spare, and Scott started with a 4-bagger, I think. So it's not like they got off to a really slow start.
No, not at all.
It's just that's what next gen can do to you.
Great shot by Jana there. Yeah, 2 in a row working, Randy and Jana. Cody.
Quite a different start than we saw from Next Gen in the first game, with that block of strikes going down.
Chad with a little bit of a miscue there. Side.
So you guys have won this before. So just your mindset on a 3-game total points match, like when you're playing a regular open or even a regular step ladder, once you play that game's done and there's really no carryover to the next game. So does your mindset change with something like this?
That was so long ago that we won this. Oh. I don't know if it necessarily changes. I think you approach every game as like the game. And it's nice to be in that position that Next Gen's in going into game 2, knowing that instead of having to get 11.5 like the Dynamite need to get, they only need to get 5.5, which is a great position to be in. And knowing that they have 2 games to do that definitely changes. I guess it does change the mindset a little bit, but you still have a job to do and you still know what needs to get done. So you treat it like we're going to finish it now. Don't even let it go to sleep.
Yeah.
I can't remember when we did it. Was it in 3 games? Did we do it in 3 or did we get it done in 2?
I don't remember now.
I can't remember. That was so long ago.
Yeah. And it was against Next Gen. I do believe it took us 3 games to get it done.
I think you're right.
Yeah. I think that's been kind of Next Gen's whole mentality. This playoffs is just get it done as early as fast as possible. Don't let it get to that point where now you need something in the last game, right?
Oh, definitely. Because as we've seen in the 2-game playoffs, for sure, that once the ball goes rolling the other way, it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the Dynamite did to the Kingpins too, right? After being down 8-0 the first game, they came back with a good second game, and then just didn't take their foot off the gas and shot 1,500 the last game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and Des has alluded to it a couple times, playing with more of a full roster, even though they're missing 2 people today. This year, having 8 people there a lot of the time has given them a lot of freedom and continuity, and they get along so well too. So I know the one year was it last year they played the playoffs with 6 and the finals with 5, or I think they played the semifinals with 5 and the finals with 6.
Yeah. Last year, their team, they had a little bit more of a issue getting everybody to the lanes when it was game time, for sure.
Because I think they had to play once when Brad was in Europe, and they played
Tyler.
They played with 5 the whole time.
Mm-hmm. So neither team really jumped on this start. No one's taking a commanding lead. No one's saying okay, watch us now. Haley goes and gets that spare.
Yeah, it's really where you have to just chip away and trust the process, right? Because if you get a few people struggling like the Dynamite have now, the last thing you need is for one person to think that they've got to throw 5 or 6 in a row by themselves. And then if everybody has that mindset, you start pressing.
Yeah.
Cody knew right out of his hand that was a good one. Next Gen looking to finish up this frame. Which they do.
Change coming for the Dynamite.
An early pull.
Tyler coming in for Max next frame.
Wanting to get a jump on that before things start to get away from him. And when you have the two pulls, not necessarily a bad choice to make that pull early.
No, and especially as we talk about all the time, and with this format where you can warm up on the side, nobody's coming in cold. It's not like the Open where you could have someone who hasn't thrown for 3 hours, and all of a sudden you've got to bring him into a game.
Pull to the left.
And both teams being so deep have had great bench play throughout the playoffs whenever they've needed to use them. Big break there for Jenna. Turning a punch into a chop.
Oh, and Jenna pushes that chop spare. Next gen putting marks on marks. That's what they need to do. Get off to that early lead. I know Des didn't agree with our coasting comment, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. If you have the talent to be able to get yourself to the 7th frame with a big lead and then not have to put the pressure on in 8, 9, 10, and the other team is chasing you, I would 100% want to be in that position every time I'm playing a match play event where I have a big lead going into 8, 9, 10, and I have the ability to kind of coast in if I need to. And if I don't throw the marks, it's not the end of the world. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Right. And I don't think per se they mentally let up or anything and start coasting, as I may have mentioned. But I think when you have 3 or 4 people on strings all the time, if eventually they have to break off.
For sure.
If the other team's there ready to make up some sticks.
Haley punching in 3. With every other position throwing lots of marks up there, I'm imagining that 3 hole is the one that she's going to be looking at to make a pull again. And we just had one of our cameras go down. We're bringing it back up here.
Yeah, and as coming from a manager who has in our playoff game made 2 pulls before the 4th frame, sometimes it's not necessarily the bowler's fault. They're not necessarily playing that bad, but if they're not throwing strikes and the opposition is.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you ever take into account as a manager, like what they've been doing in the past? Like, I mean, he just came off a national gold win. He just threw a 300 the match before. Would that give him a little bit more leniency, in your opinion, even though he just got pulled in the 2nd frame?
Yeah, probably. Situations are different, and that's where this league is unique, right? You could have someone who's averaged 300 the first 8 games, and then you don't play for 6 weeks.
Right.
So all of a sudden they might not be hot or coming in under the same conditions, right?
For sure.
Yeah. When you've got a deep team as a manager, my mindset is I can't watch someone struggle or put up a bad score, even if they're not throwing that bad. For instance, like even Haley's game there, right? Corner miss, corner spare punch. She's not throwing bad by any means, but the score doesn't indicate how well she might be throwing.
For sure.
I can't watch someone struggle or put up a bad score if I've got, 255, 270 shooters on the bench.
Yeah. Especially when the person, like when you look across the board, Haley versus Jana went strike, 5 spare strike, and is now sitting at 75 with 2 balls to count to Haley's 48. Haley hasn't thrown a bad 3 frames, but she is already in a 25-point deficit without those 2 balls even counting on there yet. So
Right. And the one I'll call it a mistake that I see a lot of coaches make, either in the open or whatever, at least by the way my mind works, is if you give someone an extra frame, say you were going to pull someone on a head pin, you say, no, I'm going to give them an extra frame. Well, if they leave a corner and then miss it, you've got to pull them. If they miss and say, well, I'm going to give them a chance at spare, and then they don't get the spare. But even if they miss and get the spare, if they miss again next frame, it's only a 20 count that they got with that mark.
right.
I find people leave them in give them one more shot, but then get sucked in for 1 or 2 more frames. Then all of a sudden you've let them go.
Yeah. Oh, my mentality is ruthless on that. If I'm leaving you in for one more shot, if you don't throw the strike, you're gone. If it's a corner, you're gone. If it's a head pin, you're gone. I don't care. If it's not a strike on the board, and if you throw that one strike, but then the next frame come up and don't throw a strike, you're still gone. You're out.
Yeah. I might not be a strike, but definitely you've got to hit the head pin and on the side and spare it to earn yourself another frame. But then again, if you miss the next frame or punch the next frame, you're gone.
Yeah.
Especially at this level.
Yeah. Well, at this level, there's a big part of trusting your bench as well, right? All these teams have rosters that go so deep. Even your bench players or your ineligible players for the week are still just as strong as the people you have on the lanes. It's just a matter of who you're going to put in that day. And I'm sure every team has different. Oh, Cody with the solid head pin turned chop.
Yeah, and most of the players at this level, you look at the teams, if you've got someone who might be a great player but is known as an individual and not a great team player, they're probably not getting on one of these teams.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, and he doesn't take advantage of it. Got the break, cherries the 3-pin.
So this is where one of those rare instances where totals are pretty close, but only one of the matches is really close early
Yeah.
on. And I think if you're the Dynamite, you're not really watching your matches anyway. I mean, we don't really in the Pro League. It's kind of not till you get late do you really pay that much attention to it. But you're really trying to put some totals together, knowing you got to win totals this game to keep going. And totals you will get will help you in the third game if you get there.
Yeah, exactly.
So the top match, Dana's going up 23 on a strike. Tyler's on a spare. Pretty good lead for Julie in the second match. Jana's got a good lead in the third match. The fourth match, Cody potentially within a ball on Chad, but he's trailing. In that fourth match, Scott's going to need another strike to get close to Brad.
I just can't seem to figure out that first match. Don't really have anything working up there. Tyler's struggling a bit.
And that's a case where if he hadn't made the other move, then it probably would have made the double pull in the top match.
Yeah,
For sure. Yeah.
But coaching's easy when you get to see the score at the end of the game.
Yeah, of course.
always.
Oh, and another punch for Haley. Gets the 7 count. Randy throws a strike over on the Dynamite side. And Jana just wide. Still putting marks on marks, so building a little bit there. Gets another one.
So, quick question for you guys. I've noticed in the Pro League, a lot of the pulls are made after a frame instead of mid-frame.
I think it's because you can warm up on the side.
That was going to be because I know historically for me, or especially in our open or whatever, if someone punches and I'm making a move, I'm getting the other person in to throw 2 balls for the count.
Yeah.
So they can get their legs under them to start the next frame.
For sure. Yeah. I think the fact that you can warm up off to the side, you don't really need those 2 practice balls.
Right.
And then realistically, when you're wanting your bench player to come in, you're not wanting them to throw at 5 sides. You want them to be throwing that strike ball at the middle. So it's not really needed as much in this format to have them throw a couple warm-up balls when you want them to be on the middle anyway. Let them go warm up on middle shots and then come in hot. And I think we see a lot of well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's definitely been a strong coming off the bench across the league. I think pretty much every single time I've commentated, someone's coming off the bench and they're coming off firing hot right from ball 1, throw in a 4-bagger or a 5-bagger come in.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily always see that at open, or in those other match play events like that. You know, you might take a couple frames, or there might be a few more like spare frames or things like that, punching head pins and things. But I find in this format, in this league, there's lots of people coming off the bench and just getting on a heater right away.
Yeah. Definitely the depth of the league, and like you said, being able to warm up. So
yeah,
to the break.
We got a quick break here, 565 to 499, and we'll jump into the break.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centers across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
When you come to the Canadian Brewhouse, you'll feel right at home. We work hard to make our house your house. With an affordable menu of appetizers, entrees, desserts, beverages, and killer deals on daily specials. At our house, you never miss a play. As sports lovers, we've ensured each location includes over 50 TVs and our signature Jumbotron. The Canadian Brewhouse is the place people want to be.
There you go. 499 to 565. Next gen with a slight lead.
Brad was going to warm up, it looks like.
So I think I made a mistake there too, because they've only made one move for the Dynamite, right? So they still have Aaron.
Oh, that's correct. They start with Randy and Jana at the start, and
Right.
Chad and Scott. So you're right. Yeah.
Right. All the siblings and same names and stuff.
Jenna coming back from that commercial break with a big strike. Julie following her, getting the ham bone.
Got Ty going in for Haley here.
Randy over on the other side getting the double. I think this is a good move putting Tyler in. Like we said, Haley's not throwing a bad game there. She's hitting the middle constantly, just not getting quite to the side. And when she is, it's not pushing over the strikes. I think it's a good move to put Tyler in while this match is still catchable.
Good job by Jana. Making sure Ty knows who's he's playing against. She throws a strike coming in.
Oh, 12 for Tyler. Chad throws a strike. They're looking to go from top to bottom.
And for the people that might like to use the commercial break as an excuse, no.
Should be even more ready.
Yeah, this is how you come out of the break.
Ooh, Scotty skinnies that one for a chop off. Cody with a strike.
And a
Good
chop
frame.
spare for Scott. Brad looking to finish this one up for next gen, but excellent frame by both teams.
Yeah. Killing it.
And again, next gen looking for 5.5 points to lock it up. Dynamite looking to win this game and get it to a third game. 10, 12.
Ooh, and a matching 12 to his brother.
Wasn't sure if Jim was going to get in some practice there.
So 700 for Bonnie Doon next gen. The 629 for the Dynamite.
Get it? Oh, so close. Oh, and a big strike over for Tyler on the other side.
Tyler took that commercial break seriously.
Gets the spare. See if Julie can keep it going over here.
Ooh.
Another one for her. Randy hangs a corner.
Randy got roasted.
Yahtzee for Julie.
Yeah, and Randy needed that strike to stay within 73. Tyler down 58, but I think he's just looking at getting some pins back, and then if it gets close near the end, he'll worry about the match.
Mm-hmm. He throws a great shot.
Spared by Randy.
Oh, left corner for Jana. And Cody just pushing it left. Looking to spare this up. Gets the half.
Just enough.
Just enough. Marks on marks. Jana gets her mark. She's had a really clean game over on that side.
Chance for Chad to throw a strike here and potentially take the lead on Cody. And that bottom match, 2 sticks. Both on spares.
Oh, pulls it over. Brad with a 3-pin.
Does that phrase apply only on a strike or a double, or can it be a spare as well?
No, it was on any mark, actually. That was a poop in the tub.
Looking for a rubber ducky?
Gets the spare, though. Another solid frame by both teams here.
Scotty looking to cap it off for the Dynamite.
8:58 for next gen.
Oh. And that'll be the first open we've seen since the commercial break.
Just one double working for each team. No big runaway matches, except for maybe the Ty Jana match, but Ty's obviously going to try and keep that one close here. We have Julie with a big string of strikes. She's thrown amazing on the next gen side.
Yeah, big shot here for Tyler.
Yeah. Gets this right back in.
Strike, he can get it within range. Anything else or an open, and Jenna can run away from him pretty easily.
Oh, and a punch on that one. So his string of strikes comes to an end there. This gives Jenna an opportunity to increase the lead in that first match. She throws a strike. So with getting team total, they only need to take 3 individual matches to end it right here. And they're already sitting right now with Jenna's match, Julie's match. And the other 3 are close. Well, the third match right now Jana has, but the bottom 2 are close. Looking to make some moves down at the bottom and see if they can end it here. Oh,
Still up a little over 100 in totals.
leaves it on the second ball too.
Yes, Julie decided she had too many points. She just waved that one off.
Head pin over on the Dynamite side, so not going to make up any ground this frame. Tyler punching over on the next gen side, so he isn't going to make up too much ground on Jana.
And then we are seeing the double pull for Dynamite with Eric going in for Tyler in the 9th frame.
I love when the double pull happens in the same bowler.
Yeah.
Do you have to do
I love it.
stats?
I don't have to do the stats, so that's nice
probably
for
why you
me.
love it.
It's a bit of a pain in the butt. But I think it's a good rule, and I like the move.
Yeah.
I like what it adds to the matches.
Yeah.
There's always that possibility. No one is safe. Jana with another markup on the board. Cody throws a strike on his spare.
So Chad will need a strike to stay within 10.
This will be a big ball for Chad, especially knowing that they already have those 2 matches at the top with fairly decent sized leads in them. I mean, anything can happen, especially in that top match, but
yeah, it'd be hard for Jenna not to get to 236 though now. So
So those 2 matches are all but going to next gen. So these bottom 2 players are really going to want to make sure they don't leave anything up to chance here.
Yeah.
A strike here from Scott will keep his match within 11. And he gets it. So those 2 matches are still anyone's game. Everybody working on strikes and 10 points between them. And they only need one of those 2 to end it here in the second game.
Like 1,008 to 901, so 107 pins.
Yeah, that's to say if they take team total.
Yeah.
They would only need one of those matches. Manages to stay on her feet.
you don't have to stick the landing as long as you don't go past that black line.
Oh, she did.
It did look like she went past the black line.
Yeah,
I see
I wasn't
foul
sure.
marked in there.
Yeah.
Hard to see from this angle, but
yeah, it looked like her foot was right on top of it.
But she'll take the double and give up the 15.
Yeah. And we have a spare working over on the other side for Aaron.
If it was 10 pin, but that's a discussion for another day again.
We've had that discussion on podcast.
Yep, we have.
What a glorious thing it would be for 5-pin to have that ball taken away.
A lost ball, and you have to reshoot whatever you had standing.
Yeah.
Big strike up there for Randy for team total. Julie getting back on the board with a spare in 9, giving herself something to work on in 10.
Cruising.
Oh, and Tyler just outside.
Oh,
And
Jana.
here we'll see our first open frame from Jana. So Tyler can get to 178 and 9 plus 45.
With the 4 biggest shots of the match coming up right here after Jana's shot. Cody up 10, both on strikes. Brad up 11, both on strikes.
Cody gets his double. Big shot. Oh, and the double over for Chad, keeping it within 10.
This is definitely a slower paced game for both teams compared to their regular season and their playoff runs.
For sure it is, yeah.
These big shots in 9 and 10.
Brad throws his double in 9. So Scott will need a strike here to keep his match within 11 going into the last frame. Jenna taking some practice slides over on the other lane. And Scott gets his double. So those two matches are going to come right down to the wire.
Yeah.
And that's what's so great watching players, this good, just even if you are playing so for 7 frames, just all the experience and poise comes in when it's showtime.
For sure. So next gen working on those 3 doubles going into the 10th frame, plus a couple spares. And a head pin for Jenna on hers.
Turns into a chop.
She got hers into a chop off.
Yeah.
And just like Cody did, couldn't take advantage of the bonus chop off.
Chop cherry. But Jenna will take that.
So 256 for Jenna. And that first point goes to next gen. This one here, obviously, Julie will take this point as well. So we'll be sitting at that 9-1.
Julie gets that strike. Tough for the leadoff player on that match. Three players taking it to 196.
Yep, 30 for 2, 116 for 6, and 50 for 2.
Another big strike for Julie. Yeah, next gen has had a few of those good breaks, those chops being turned out of head pins. I see Cindy made a comment.
Yeah, they've had a couple of them for sure. As a discussion for maybe a podcast as to what we see out on these lanes.
344 for Julie. That's a great game.
Randy, big strike.
That's Julie's third 300 of the playoffs.
And solid the whole way through. Yep.
Yeah.
Head pin here for Tyler. He'll be looking to just clean it up. And Jana will take that third match there. And then it's coming down to the good ones. The close matches that are going to decide this.
Yeah.
Or at least decide if we're going to a game 3 or not.
So I think
kind of already knew what was happening on the top 3, so not a lot of suspense there.
Dynamite pretty much have to follow suit here with Randy and go off the sheet and hope for 2 opens here. So they're at 12-19 right now.
Cody throws the first one in 10. Another corner for Jana.
He's just getting up there and ripping up, not giving,
Yeah.
not worrying about what you're going to do.
Another big strike from Cody. So he was up 10 going into the 10th frame.
So more than actually half a point. If he gets 5 here, the most Chad can do is tie it, and that'll be enough. That'll give them the 2.5 matches.
Yep.
Oh, Chad thin.
And so that'll be it.
Team total is officially out of reach.
It hasn't added Cody's total yet. So once they add his 43, should get it to 62.
And is it counting Brad's 2 strikes yet?
No, it is not.
They already have 1307, and I think Max is going to be
1295. Yeah, it's one ball.
Pin here, yeah.
That'll do her. Really, the only undecided thing is this last match.
That's right. Scott's still down 11. Brad threw the first one.
This is like, I know this game probably wasn't the scores that they were looking for, but this is kind of what we expected. Lots of strikes.
Lots of marks in general. Yeah.
Yeah. Just minimum of 1300s, right? You're thinking there's probably going to be 1400s. You didn't quite get to that number today, but I didn't expect any less out of these two teams.
No, and Dynamite are going to be mid 1200 here. The games that Next Gen have won, the losers this year in the playoffs, who shot 1330, 1286, 1305, 1291, and then Dynamite had 1327 the first game.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're playing against over 260 a game and still winning every one.
For sure.
Well, that is season 3.
Third time's a charm.
Next Gen, arguably probably the best team in the last 3 seasons. I know they only got 1 title to show for it. 2 second places and a championship is pretty hard to beat. We'll wait for our managers to get settled in here and we'll gather their thoughts before we end this. But, Katie, Steve, got to see some pretty good bowling.
Yeah. I think a lot of people probably were thinking this is exactly how it was going to end. Next Gen's been in the finals. This is their 3rd time in a row. They've shown they're consistent, and every season have just been getting better. Their team camaraderie and everything has been on the up in the last couple of seasons. So I think they were due, and I think a lot of people were expecting this win.
Yeah. Obviously, Next Gen last season didn't have the greatest. I think they just missed out on playoffs. They had a turnaround season to become number 1 qualifier on their side and to run it all the way to the finals and put up a fight, but just way too many strikes on the Next Gen side. So without further ado, we'll bring in Mr. Jim Llewellyn from the Dynamite. And we'll wait on Des here. I know she's probably celebrating with her team virtually at the moment, but we'll wait for her to jump in here. Jim, obviously, great season for the Dynamite. Great turnaround season for you guys. I know season 2 wasn't the best, but season 3 definitely showed the grit and the game that you guys have out there.
Yeah, we're not disappointed in the season. You know, final result wasn't great, but they were awesome. They threw lots of strikes. There's no doubt. So
Mhm.
what can you do? There's no defense in bowling.
No,
So,
and you had a great regular season, Jim, and then averaged just under 280 your first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and today 1327, 12 and a half. It's good shooting. It's just a tough crowd.
yeah, no, just couldn't get anything going really. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. Des, next gen, 3rd time's the charm.
Congratulations.
It really was. Thank you. Well played, Jim
Congrats.
and team. Also, thank you.
Congrats.
Obviously, it's been a long season, 16 weeks or 18 weeks, whatever it was, and so many rounds of playoffs. We just want to congratulate Next Gen on the fantastic season. We will get the trophy for you guys all wrapped up here. How is the team feeling? What's going on down at the lanes?
Well, they all ran out onto the lanes, like Tyler's comparing it to the hockey game, when they all rush out there. So they're happy. And, I'm so proud. We said from the beginning of the season that it really did feel different to us. And to be able to come out week after week when we were playing and kind of show what everyone is capable of and capitalize on that just feels like a really good way to end the season. And I think confirms for all of us that feeling that we had all season was real and it was the right one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you guys showed that as like only losing the 1 game all year, and that was with a 1340. And then in the playoffs, your depth showed through as well. You saw the 1 round where you won the first game, and then the next game, the 4 girls 1 through 4 in the order with Brad on the bottom, and you still shot 1,400 that game. So just the depth and continuity you have with your group is just impressive.
Thank you.
Speaking of Next Gen, they seem to have entered the chat room somehow. Tyler using his official admin background privileges, I'm sure. We will add him in the team. Congratulations, Next Gen. Well done. Amazing job, guys. Congrats. Yeah, so we will get all that money out to you guys, and I don't know what else to say. It was an amazing season.
Yeah, total team effort, both teams. It's fun to watch. Not always fun to play against, but fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
And just a big thank you from all of us too. I'm sure I speak on behalf of Next Gen and all the teams in the league. We really appreciate you guys giving up your Sundays, Mondays, whatever night of the week it is to be here and commentating and all the work that goes into the background. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
that.
Great job.
All right, we'll let you all go here, and we'll run our last commercial of the day and end the season on a high note.
Thank you.
Congrats, guys.
All right, thanks again, everybody, and have a great summer. We'll see you out on the lanes later.
Yep, take care.
Bye, guys.
Good luck at Nationals, Katie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centers across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
When you come to the Canadian Brewhouse, you'll feel right at home. We work hard to make our house your house. With an affordable menu of appetizers, entrees, desserts, beverages, and killer deals on daily specials. At our house, you never miss a play. As sports lovers, we've ensured each location includes over 50 TVs and our signature Jumbotron. The Canadian Brewhouse is the place people want to be.